Our grinder with our shield on there with our Hercules vacuum to get all this grinded out. And that's what we're gonna do. So first things first, I need to set you guys down. That's not very much fun. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think I have the best grinder setup. I'm gonna bring some from home here and try. It's not like horrible, but I'm not getting it flat. It's only grinding like on an edge, so it's kind of frustrating. It doesn't seem to be working too bad, but yeah, we got to work on it a little bit. I'm not 100% happy. Definitely don't want to do what I'm doing there in my basement. So we might end up buying a more preloaded grinder for that situation. Obviously with us, the nice thing, if you're like me, the way you get a lot of new tools is you tell your wife, yeah, I can buy all these tools because I'm saving so much money by doing it myself. So we're going to use that excuse with the missus. And probably buy like a 7-inch grinder to do the basement, and then we can use the 4.5 for like more touch-up stuff. So that's what we're gonna go ahead and do to keep moving forward. All right, we are not making fast progress. I think a lot of it is that the blade just doesn't stick out far enough, so I'm having to really lean in on it, which really wears it out. And get one of these. Don't do what I was doing just now. It's up in my nose. It's not good. It's not fun to breathe in, so I'm gonna wear this the rest of the time. I'm not gonna film it, but we're gonna bust out the rest of this. There's not that much surface area, but for what I'm doing, it's not a lot of fun. So I will probably talk with my coating provider that I plan on using for the home project and ask him. I don't want a big heavy unit because I got to haul it down the stairs at my house, but we need something better than what we have now. So I may talk to him and see what he recommends. Of course, he's going to want to rent me a unit because that's his business. But I'm probably going to look online and see what I can find. Maybe get like a 7-inch setup, one that's turnkey ready to go so that I know it's going to work. It's really not that bad as far as like doing it. It's just I'm having to force the thing into the ground. So I'm gonna go ahead and get back to it and finish it out, and then I'm gonna put on this. So I'll show you guys the finished product, and then we're gonna vacuum it up, and then we'll be ready for that. Whew. That was a lot of work. Let's get some light on there. All right, that was a lot of work. We've got her pretty good. Obviously, I didn't take the guard off to get super close, but this is overkill. Like, for what I'm doing, this is overkill. So, we'll scrub around the toilet there. I'm sure that's all piss. And clean up. Right now, what we're gonna do is put on the vacuum attachments, get it all vacuumed up, and then we need to put on the concrete patch repair, and we're gonna fill in those deep holes there, there, I think, yeah, there. So we'll probably hit that crack a little bit, but I'm not overly worried about it because we're not going for showroom or anything. But this is the only thing that's kind of ticking me off, is I don't know why that's leaking. And we can't have that leaking. I wonder if I bumped it or something. I don't know. We don't want that leaking while we're got fresh paint on there. It'll ruin it, obviously. So. I'll get a couple attachments here. All right, that's about where we're gonna end it today. Well, that's not true. We're gonna fill those. We gotta do that right now. All right, we're ready to go here with the concrete patch and repair. It comes with two parts, so you got a part A and a part B, 2 to 1. So we're gonna scoop out 2 parts of this to 1 part of this, mix it up. I did get, this is a auto body mixing mat for Bondo, but I took one of the spreaders and just cut it in half so I could use one for each one so I don't contaminate them. It's a little runnier than I thought it would be. So typically, if you overdo your hardener on anything that you got to mix, it's just going to set up a lot quicker. We're just going to fold it in until it's all a uniform gray. And you get rid of any of that streaking. Stuff flows a lot more than I thought it would. Alright, I think we're good. So let's go fill. We'll work our way backwards here. So we've just got these 2 here. Because this stuff's pretty drippy. I do believe you can like scrape up, like using a metal scraper, you can scrape up any excess. I'm going to try and get as little on the top as possible while still filling up that gap. I think it says it'll fill like 1/2 inch.
So that one's still just a little bit low, but I don't think I'm gonna mess with it much more because I don't want it to become a bigger issue. Again, this is just a shop bathroom. It's nothing special. This stuff is runny. It does level itself out pretty nice though. Oh, now that I put my finger in it. So, simple enough to work with, but it is a bit messy. Definitely works better in the cracks than it does in the big voids. All right, we've got all of the, kind of still looks wet a little bit, it's tacky. We got it all down yesterday. This is 6 a.m. in the morning the next day. Hopefully it sets up by this afternoon. Still a little tacky. Hopefully I mixed it right. So, we'll let that sit all day. I think it's a 24-hour cure. I read that, I was like, 28 days prior to painting, and it was actually says, unlike conventional vinyl concrete patches that must cure, this can be painted in only 8 hours. I'm not buying it because it's still tacky, but I may not have put enough of the activator in there. So we'll see. We'll get it. We're not going to paint this till the end of the day because it's in the bathroom, obviously, and I don't want my employees going in there. So we're having to pee outside around back. So
we'll let it go all day, and just realized I left my door unlocked. That's not good. We'll let it go all day, and then we will paint it this afternoon, and you won't see any difference because it's gonna happen right now. All right, it's just about go time. We've been having water come through the door all day because it's a wash bay and there's a gap and we need to seal it. So basically we have white panels up, but the water's still going under the framing. So we need to get a seal line, but I'm trying to dry all this out so that I can coat it. Basically ready to go. We're just gonna work it the best we can. We'll go around all the wet stuff. It is what it is. I'm not gonna mess with it too much. I just finished vacuuming it again. We're gonna crank open this kit and see what's all inside. So we've got a roller. This is the actual chemical. This is if you want to etch your concrete. We're not doing that though because we grinded it. This is the instructions. I was really hoping it came with a little bucket in there, but it did not. Which means I have to go find a bucket. I'll be right back. All right, so the video I watched, they were like mixing the metallic in there, which is what I thought I had to do, but apparently I don't have to do that on this one, so it must already be in here. We're gonna cut open the pouch and mix it. So it tells you to kind of work it all up and mix it all up, especially like that corner stiff. So I want to get the material moving around in there. Which I assume that's where like all that metallic is. I don't feel like I'm doing a whole lot. It's hard to believe this little bag is going to cover 100 square feet. All right, it's voiceover time again because I must have hit the wrong button and turned off the sound when I was recording. So basically, they want you to lay the package down on the floor and then you're going to roll it from one end to the other in an attempt to push it through that little barrier and combine the two sides. So that's what I'm doing here. And it's kind of nerve-wracking because that bag builds up a lot of pressure and I did not want it to blow up in my office. So as you can see, it did bust the seal, and now I'm rolling that back and forth through there. And then we're just gonna mix it up really well. Um, at first, I was just kind of doing what I was doing before there, and then I was like, wait, I should probably shake this. So you'll see me pick it up and shake it here. And then I was reading the directions on it. It is a 2 to 3 minute mixture. But because I lose patience very quickly, I probably made it 60 seconds on this. All right, so here I'm kind of laying out the game plan. So I want to trim everything in first before we fill in the middle. So I'm kind of just showing you like how I'm going to work around. And then I'm realizing I didn't pick up everything. So trash can, paper towels, toilet paper, all that's got to go up. And then I'm just showing you behind the door where I got to go out. So this is kind of the plan. And then this heater, we moved in there because I had a meeting in my office and I didn't want all this stuff sitting out during the meeting. So I did the best I could to vacuum it all up. Well, I won't say the best I could. I did a little bit of vacuuming. We also had to dry it up a little bit because we were using our wash bay and the water was coming under the door. So what my plan here is just to cut off a slight corner of the bag so that we don't have too much material come out, and then we'll be able to just kind of trace it around the edge. And I decided it'd be a good idea to wear gloves while doing this because it's gonna be messy. So went and grabbed some gloves. Weird fact about me, I only wear the black gloves. I don't like the blue ones or the purple ones. I'm not a doctor, but I was hoping that would focus better. It's very cool looking, a lot of metallic in there. So it should come out pretty good. So I grabbed my brush and we're ready to go. So you're gonna see we're gonna go ahead and trim out this whole thing. I'm gonna try and move the camera along as I do it, which is super hard to do, but we're gonna do our best. You'll see me kind of lay ribbons around and then we'll use that to see, I got a little crazy there. We'll do that and then we'll trim out all of those edges with that brush and go from there. All right, so you can see we're starting to edge in everything here. This is kind of where I'm kind of getting the gist of the way this feels. It's definitely a thicker, less runny product than like a typical paint would be. Um, and it kind of has some self-leveling properties, which is kind of neat to watch it start flowing out. So you'll see that as we go. But I did notice with the grinder, because the blade wasn't sticking down far enough below the guard, I was having to use the edge, like tilt it up on edge, which ate into the concrete a lot deeper and less uniform. So you can see those marks right there where it's up and down and back and forth. You won't really be able to see, I don't think, in this video, but as I was actually leaving the shop, letting it cure out for the weekend, you could see where it was hitting those spots and highlighting it. So, um, again, I'm just roughing this in really fast. We didn't do any masking, we didn't do any tape. I don't care. This is a pretty rough shop bathroom. This is actually, believe it or not, the cleanest it's been in probably 5 years. So, um, just a rough in. The floor is going to look a heck of a lot better than it did with that tile. If you didn't see that first video, go back and watch the first video where we ripped up the vinyl stick-on tile. And we'll just kind of go into view mode here. We'll play some music for you. Leave a comment below. Let me know how you like it. this is where the fun starts happening. So we've got our roller on an extension here. And you're going to see us kind of just start pushing it out. And so what I'm starting to figure out is you need quite a bit of this material. So see how it's gap in there? It's not really covering. Um, Unlike paint, because it's just so thick, you need a lot of this. But if you have like a big puddle like that, you can actually just kind of push it with the roller. The roller won't spin and you can kind of push it around. So um, it probably took the whole project, which is not very big, obviously, for me to kind of get the gist of it and get it moving how I wanted it to. But um, it's super cool. The video isn't really showing it as well in detail, like all the swirling and metallics and stuff, but it's very, very neat product. And then watching it self level, if you watch far enough here, you'll see where I kind of leave it alone for a while. It starts kind of creating its own look and leveling out on the floor. Super neat stuff. Super excited to do this project in the basement at my house, which is a huge undertaking. It's um, over 2,000 square feet that we'd be doing, and this was like maybe 100 square feet, probably a little bit less. So again, we're gonna go back to just kind of showing the process. Okay, I want to chime in here. You can see with the brush, I was doing little circles, and that's what they recommend you do to kind of let it flow out and move the metallics around and kind of give it a really cool finished look, which you will see here shortly. Those are some good examples there of the swirling. Luckily, I had a long enough reach on it that I could kind of reach the back of the room. And here I'm just telling you that I'm super cheap and don't value stuff, so I'm going to throw away the roller and the tool. Also, the paintbrush. I buy these cheap, don't buy high-end stuff, just because I know I'm going to get rid of them.
So you can see a lot of debris in it, but that's because I did a horrible job of prepping because I'm a master of none. And that's why I've settled on that name for this channel. So that is the finished floor. I hope you guys enjoyed the two-part series. We'll be doing a lot more videos, so make sure to subscribe, make sure to follow along, and let's blow up this Master of None Company channel, because the more people that follow me, the more I'm going to do silly little projects like this, and you'll really get to see my ADHD come out, where we just kind of half-ass it and don't clean up the floor and don't vacuum it and don't make sure it's dry. And I'm sure there's a lot of pee around that toilet that didn't get cleaned up either. So one last view. It's a wild different color. It looks weird in there, but I like it. We'll see you guys later.